Could the man called Sting retire on top? Or did the Young Bucks pull their EVP card and win the AEW World Tag Team Championships?
Could Deonna Purrazzo dethrone Timeless Tony Storm?
Could the overwhelming force of Osprey overcome the immovable object that is Konosuke Takeshita? All that and more in this review of Revolution. Hit it, Dave.
Hey, Daver here. Welcome to the show.
Hey, this guy's Chad.
And Chandler's back as well. How we doing, Dave?
We're doing great. Coming off a really incredible pay-per-view, AEW Revolution 2024. A lot to unpack. We've got Sting's final match, World Championship match, probably my match of the year so far, Konosuke Takeshita versus Will Osprey. A lot of fun stuff coming out of this. Heck, even the All-Star Scramble was pretty fun for me. Yeah, what did you two think about everything on the pay-per-view?
It was great. Good matches, bell to bell. Pacing was pretty good. Like the last 3 to 4 matches was just like red hot. But yeah, I thought the starting with Garcia versus Cage was a little off-putting, just because the type of match they had was a little more methodical. But all in all, loved it. Probably their best pay-per-view in quite some time. How about you guys?
I hate to be the Debbie Downer. I thought it was fine. I'd give it like I know we don't really do number rankings. I'd give it like an 8 out of 10. Like the last 3 matches were really good, and they like didn't save the pay-per-view, but they basically helped it. Everything else felt kind of like a fine TV match to me. Like it wasn't really that exciting to me. But I still enjoyed it. I still had a lot of fun watching it. So
Yeah. I guess they all can't be WWE.
exactly. Where was Logan Paul?
Yeah, I'd rather watch AEW than that sterile crap.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, hey, I didn't even watch Elimination Chamber. I only watched one match because my friend wanted to. So I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Excited for
Yeah.
Mania, but this isn't a Mania review. This is a Revolution review.
Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, we're gonna gloss over the pre-show. Not a whole lot going on. I don't really consider that.
Jeff Jarrett was there. That's important.
Yeah. We got Jeff on the pre-show. Yeah, not too much on regular cable television lately, but I'll take Jeff when I can get him. Also Collision, yeah, wasn't really kind of an afterthought show. I kind of feel like it's really muddled when they're literally the day before the pay-per-view. Uh, they don't really have a whole lot to relay to the viewers or the fans. Pretty much everything's established by that point. Uh, we did have a qualifying match for the 8-man scramble. Dante Martin ended up winning that.
He's back,
Um,
baby.
yeah, he's
We'll
still
get to
back.
that. I was like expecting Brian Keith or Penta, and then I heard the top flight music. I was like, yeah, no way this guy won.
It was a good match
Um,
too. I ended up watching it.
Mhm.
I was like, oh, I got to do notes because if we review Collision, which we decided not to in lieu of this show,
yeah.
so I literally watched it, then went right into the pre-show. That I watched wrestling for way too many hours yesterday.
Yeah, so did
There's
I.
no such thing.
Yeah, I even woke up at about 4 a.m. this morning just to rewatch a few things and make sure I had my notes in order. Uh, yeah, that was 5 hours worth of pay-per-view plus the pre-show. So, or no, 6. It started at
3:30 Pacific.
3:30, ended at like 9:30,
Jeez.
a little after 9. Yeah, unbelievable. Yeah, that's a lot. I don't think they need to be that long. I
I
don't think
only
so.
I only watched the 4-hour broadcast that was on Bleacher Report, so that's all I caught. I didn't get the pre-show, but geez, even the 4-hour show was long for me. I was like, ugh, like
Yeah, I think that's the one thing AEW or WWE finally figured out. 3 hours is the sweet spot for PPV or PLE.
yeah, what is a PPV? I don't know what that is. I know about PLEs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did anyone hear about the widespread Bleacher Report issues?
Yeah, that's almost every pay-per-view. Thank God I was in the clear. Sounds like you guys were too.
I watched it after the fact, so I'm sure I was fine because no one else was watching it.
Tony Khan did tweet that they were like doing an emergency like uh fight TV ability to order it all, because of that. They released Revolution on Fight TV for everyone in America. And he did tease, which I don't, if it wasn't happening, I don't know why in the hell he would do this, but he teased the Warner Discovery Max streaming deal, like pretty big in the tweet
Cool.
apologizing about Bleacher Report. So if that wasn't happening, I don't know why the hell he would have been so uh clear about that in the tweet. So
I tried to get my dad to watch this because he's a big time WCW fan, and I was like,
yeah.
"Hey, this is Sting's last match. You should check it out just for that." And it like seems like it will be a good pay per view. Like it should be good to watch. And he didn't have cable, and he didn't have a way to stream Bleacher Report. Like he didn't even have a computer, so he was like, "I just can't watch this." So they need
Mhm.
something on a streaming service soon, please. That would make it so much better. Like I'm kind of tired of having to use a VPN to watch Dynamite.
Right?
Mhm. And not to mention, we're getting another pay-per-view announced. Dynasty, April 21st. Another $50 right there. Yeah, they're gonna have to do something quick. People aren't gonna be digging the whole $50 every other month. So,
I
or more
think,
than that.
I think Tony Khan said something like I was going to say PLEs, 9 pay-per-views is a good spot for them, but he was also including Ring of Honor in that. So that's the 3 Ring of Honor ones. So then it's 6 AEW ones. So that's, let's see, the 4 big ones.
Yeah, we've
Was
already
that just,
got 8.
what was the 8? Well, I don't think we're going to do World's End and Wrestle Dream again.
Why not?
I don't know. They seem like one-off shows, I guess.
Huh.
I think they're gonna do them every year.
I'd be fine with that. Well, then
Forbidden Door, Wrestle Dream. Uh, yeah, I haven't heard any inclination that they're not gonna do them again. Uh,
I guess to me, like they seemed like kind of one-off shows. Like day one, they only got away with it because it happened to fall on New Year's, and so they didn't do it again.
mhm.
But they like kept the moniker around. I don't know, maybe World's End would be a good like even just for like a Dynamite. Like this is Dynamite World's End because it's the end of the year or something like
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean they're gonna make probably 50 times more money with a pay-per-view than they are a special themed Dynamite.
that.
So I mean, looking at the business side of it, I'd rather do a pay-per-view if I was Tony Khan.
Yeah. Like undoubtedly the pay-per-views are like the best thing AEW does in terms of buy rates. So why would they stop that?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, we did do some predictions. We do have consequences that are involved. I got my bottle of the last dab in the mail. I think it's on my front porch right now, actually. Um, but yeah, we'll do our punishment episode probably coming up here, and yeah, probably we might wrap that into our Dynamite
Mhm.
review.
I was
Uh,
figuring because I can tell the numbers now. I do got him. Dave You're going to want to keep that lid on that last jab because you're not going to need it. You won, brother. You got 21 points. And then this is the first time in our review that second and third place didn't tie because Chad was 1 point off with 20 points.
Ooh.
I biffed it. I got 14. You know, I bet the farm on Danny Garcia and Takeshita and the Young Bucks, and I didn't get any of that. So, you know, it is what it is. But the big things that, you know, at least let Dave won was obviously Christian Cage. You went all in on him. You went all in on the. No, you didn't. You went all in on obviously Takeshita and Osprey. Like that set you above. And then Sting and Darby, that was smart to go all in on. And then you guys both thinking that Sting's last match was the tag match. Well, guess what? You are right. So it was basically like just making that difference. And then I think the Christian Cage match won it in the end.
Yeah, I don't know. I was a little surprised they put the Christian Garcia match first. I thought maybe the scramble would have kicked off the show, but nonetheless, uh, really fun match. Yeah, let's go ahead and get into that one. TNT Championship match, Daniel Garcia versus Christian Cage. Uh, Daniel Garcia had a cool scorpion coat that he came to the ring with. Uh, Man, I gotta say, Danny Garcia looks like a credible threat now. They have built him up. He got over with the fans. People are into him, and he can go in the ring. So yeah, kudos to him and whoever's been helping with his character.
Daddy
Um,
Magic.
yeah. It's all daddy's doing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's see. Christian Cage at one point stumbled because his ankle is hurt. Not he kicks Garcia. Great heel move, pretended to be hurt. Christian Cage gets the upper hand and teases doing Garcia's dance, but he flexes instead. Uh, Christian Cage jumps off the top turnbuckle onto the floor. Garcia chop blocks Cage, does a dragon screw, a stomp, then an ankle lock to Cage. Uh, Christian Cage knocks Garcia out of the ring, trying to make Garcia get counted out. He does that 3 times, won't let him in the ring. Nick Wayne charges, and he's thrown over the barricade from Garcia. Garcia finally gets back in the ring and fights off Christian Cage. Garcia pulls Christian's turtleneck over his head and dances in his face in the turnbuckle. Christian goes for a diving headbutt, but Garcia moves, gets him in an ankle lock. Kill Switch ends up choke slamming Garcia while the ref wasn't looking, and we get a frog splash to Garcia from Cage and a 2 count. Daddy Magic runs out, attacks Kill Switch, but Mother Wayne gets in Daddy Magic's face, and she tries to slap him, but Daddy Magic ends up grabbing her arm. Then Daddy Magic fights Kill Switch all the way to the back. Christian goes for a spear, but his ankle gave out. Garcia gives him a pile driver, and we get a cover for 2.99. Garcia rolls up Cage again and gets to the ropes. Nick Wayne sneakily hits Garcia when the ref wasn't looking. Cage does a kill switch on Garcia for the win. No title for Garcia, which is probably the right move. I think it could have been his time, but they need to do kind of what they need to do with Swerve. Let him get that taste of it, and then it'll feel better and be a bigger moment later on.
Yeah, I guess I have to agree with you. It'll be better when he does win. But I was pretty dang disappointed because I was like, "Ooh, you're opening. You wouldn't open with a heel win." Like, and then it was Christian kissed the title. I was like, "Come on, no, you don't telegraph this stuff," and they didn't because he won. But it was slow in the beginning, but I actually really liked this match mostly just because I like Danny Garcia. So I bought on every near fall. I really thought he was going to win, especially that pile driver. As soon as Christian Cage came back into the ring, I thought that was it. Uh, Cut to my surprise, but I think my favorite part in this match was probably Daddy Magic because I was like, oh, he's gone, and then it was all bad for Garcia, and then there he is with the chair, and he's saving the day. So, yeah, I love Daddy Magic. Like he's so good in this role of father figure to Danny Garcia and to help him like cultivate who he is. And I was just kind of thinking like I want to give props to Tony Khan. I feel like in WWE in years past, if there was a gimmick that was over like the dance, they would have pushed the dance. They wouldn't have pushed the guy. And so Tony Khan actually pushed the guy with the dance. So I thought that I really liked that. So even though Danny Garcia won, kind of gave me sour grapes to start, but it was still a really fun match, and they'll build up to something down the line.
Yeah, for me, yeah, definitely a goofy opener because, like, especially the first half of the match, it was very much Christian's, methodical heel pace, and I was just like, man, this is just hard to just get sucked right in. Usually, especially AEW, usually picks like one of the hottest, like craziest acts to throw on the front. So definitely interesting pace, but I do like I would just built and built throughout the night. And same here. I wanted Garcia to win. I thought it was his time. But those near falls, whoo man, I bought on every single one of them. They did such a good job selling. Uh, yeah, in fact, I wrote here like the selling of this match is fantastic, and then we hit the next one with like Eddie's selling, and I was like, oh no, this dude's the master of selling. So, yeah, it ended up it was a really good match, and it hooked me by the end. But yeah, the first like 3 to 5 minutes, I was just like, man, this just feels strange. I feel like this would be like the third or fourth match in, but I don't know, it's a good match all in all.
If I were booking, I would have probably flipped this in the second match. Like at least the crowd was a lot more hot for the Eddie Kingston Danielson match, and it had a heel or a face win. Like
Yeah.
I know it's not like there's a template to making a pay per view good, but I feel like you want to start your crowd off hot, and I think that would have been a little bit better, but the show was still fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, to me, it felt like a dynamite match, not a pay-per-view match, honestly.
Like, yeah, like the main I feel like the first 6 matches were kind of main events of Dynamite. So like they'd be good, but you'd be like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna move on to next week." And it wasn't until the last 3 matches where I was like, "Okay, now the pay-per-view's starting."
Yeah. It's like, what can Garcia do now? Go backwards and wrestle Kill Switch and Nick Wayne? That doesn't make sense.
Mm,
That would
maybe
be backwards to me.
maybe so I was thinking we'd get the triple threat at Revolution, but maybe that's a Dynasty and you bring Copeland back in and that's kind of like due to distraction with Copeland or whatever. That's how Garcia can sneak it away. Because I think you'll want to have. I think you should do the Edge and Christian match. I'm going to call him Edge for a little bit just to keep it simple. You got to do the Edge and Christian match at some point, and I think you should do it again without the title because then you could have Copeland definitively win, and that could lead to the face turn of Christian, right? And then they could start tagging together. That's what I would say get to. But if they want Copeland to win, would kind of like mess with whatever potential reunion plans may happen. Maybe they don't have any plans for a reunion anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, man, it's gotta happen. Like, that's what people want. Uh, yeah, I just don't
It
know
would
how they're
do
gonna
it would do big business.
yeah.
Ooh, that's for
Yeah,
business.
I don't know. I'm just not really digging the whole like Copeland being I'm not buying that Copeland was injured from a concerto. Like, I don't know why he wasn't involved at all. Like, I think he should have been there or something. Or, yeah, I don't think a concerto would have taken him out for 3 weeks or whatever, 2 weeks.
Well, I thought it was funny, like Nick Wayne's first interference, like that wasn't really subtle. So I was like, this should be DQ'd. Like,
Right?
I know I don't want that. That would be super dissatisfying, but like that was blatant, guys.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we'll see where this goes. I don't know. I don't know much more they or how much further they can take this feud, except for yeah, Copeland coming back eventually and doing Daddy Magic Garcia Copeland versus Patriarchy. Uh, but yeah, I mean, even that would be where Copeland turns. I think that would be the appropriate thing to do.
Ooh, you have Copeland go bad. Interesting.
Yeah,
That would be way better.
Yeah.
He's such a good heel.
I want that. And then they can maybe, yeah, I want to see them heal, but I want to see them good too. How would that work, man?
Yeah. We're not booking this part of the show. We
Yeah.
don't gotta worry about it.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Moving on to the next match. Kind of a weird little thing. Like Lexi Nair was backstage, like looking like she was about to interview Danielson, but his music hit and he just went to the ring. That was kind of
I
awkward to
think
me.
I kind of liked this. I think they were both supposed to be interviewed, but they were so focused on their fight they weren't doing it. So that's why Lexi Nair just kind of narrated what was happening for Danielson, and the same thing for Renee. She kind of just narrated what was going
Yeah.
through Eddie Kingston's head. So
Yeah, I think they're trying to give it more of a legit fight feel because you'd see stuff like that for usually right before like a boxing or UFC main event. They'll usually go back and the fighter's focused. They're not talking to him, but he's in the background and they're just hyping up the match.
Yeah. It didn't resonate with me that much. I don't know, like Brian just kind of left her hanging to me. But yeah, I get it. Uh, yeah, we get the Triple Crown Championship match here. Eddie Kingston defending against Bryan Danielson. Uh, Kingston got hurt by a kick from Danielson. Uh, kind of right off the bat. Eddie chops Danielson, headbutts him, gives him a Saito suplex, uh, then dives on the outside on Bryan Danielson. Leg is still hurting, and he sells it so well. Danielson superplexes Eddie off the apron to the floor, or suplexes, not a superplex. Danielson uh, stomps Eddie's elbow. Danielson goes after Eddie's shoulder, fingers, wrist, elbow, stomps his elbow again. Eddie catches Danielson midair into an exploder. Eddie does a DDT to Danielson, gets a 2 count, then a stretch plum. Uh, Danielson, or rather, Eddie gives Danielson hammer and anvil elbows, just like the BCC does. We get a really nice dragon suplex to Eddie with a 2 count. Then we get Danielson hitting a Busaiku knee, covers Eddie. Eddie kicks out. Danielson kicks Eddie's head in, then a triangle sleeper. Eddie stays awake and gets to the ropes. Eddie asks for Brian to kick him and then ends up regretting it. But Eddie then suplexes Danielson. Both men go down. They punch and strike each other, slap each other. Eddie blocks a Busaiku knee with a lariat, then gives Danielson a power bomb, covers him for the win. Uh, yeah, Eddie ended up beating Danielson. Uh, Bryan actually shakes Eddie's hand, shows him a little respect. He kind of messes with him at first and pretends to, it's like, "Oh, I'm just fucking with you," and then
Mhm.
does it anyway.
Yeah. I feel like that was almost Bryan Danielson, as a person, not as a wrestler, just messing with a friend. Like, it
Mhm.
had, like, a real sort of genuine moment.
A minor amount of trolling. We get a little
Yeah,
bit, just a
yeah,
little bit.
Yeah.
yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. I thought this match was fine. I think I still preferred their other matches in the C2. Like, I don't know what it is. I felt like those had more stakes. Like I cared about them a lot more. Whereas this, I was like, well, Kingston's winning, and I'm gonna be that. But it was still good. I really liked they had like half and half sequence where Eddie hit one on Danielson and he rolled out, and then Danielson hit a half and half on Kingston, and then Kingston got right back up and hit a half and half on Danielson. I thought that was really cool. And then that suplex to the outside, like 5 minutes
Off the
in.
apron?
Yeah, I
Whew.
was like, Jesus, Danielson, calm down. Um, and then I got a little pissy when Kingston kicked out of the knee because I was like, that pin's John Cena clean as a whistle back in my day, you know? So that was just a lot, but it was a fun match.
Yeah, it was great. I love the story. Nobody sells better than Eddie Kingston.
Oh,
With
yeah.
maybe Osprey, going into that. He did some pretty good selling too, but like nobody looks like down and out and defeated and then fire up and gets me into the final sequence of a match better than Eddie. Like I feel like the finishes to his matches are always great. He always just like his arm, like I believed it was useless. It was so
Mhm.
good. So all in all, I love the match. Not match of the night for me, but yeah, if this was the first match of the night, I think this the pay-per-view would have went from like an 8 to a 9 for me. Like
That
all the if even if like the matches beat for beat were all exactly the same, I think just the pacing of it would have had me a little better.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, even though I wasn't the biggest fan of this match, it seems like everyone else
Yeah.
was. So this would have been
Or
a
like Dave's idea, take the 8-man scramble, move that to the first, then go
yeah.
8-man scramble. Like, they just needed a hotter match to start.
Mhm.
But like if this was the start of the pay-per-view for me, whoo, I'd be fired.
I also really liked Kingston pulling down the straps to get kicked more,
Yeah.
like kicked harder. Okay, man, that works. I thought that was really funny. So a fun match, and you know what's next for Danielson is my question, not what's
Yeah.
next for Kingston, unfortunately, because
Yeah.
we're in that last year full time of Danielson's career. So
Yeah. Up to his daughter's birthday.
Yep, yep. Yeah, great match. I love how Eddie Kingston is like negative goofy. Like he's so like a hero, like in a movie. Like you're rooting for him. He's the underdog. Like he very serious. Yeah, loving it.
oh, there must be
Great.
something wrong in my head. I was rooting for Danielson. I was like, come on, you can do it. Today,
uh
yeah.
yeah. I thought Danielson was gonna end up beating him initially, but yeah, I think they did the right thing. Uh I wanted to see the respect, so we can all, move on from that now. Yeah,
Mhm.
good stuff. Um, cool. Yeah, looking forward to see where both men end up after this. Um, After that, we get the 8-man All-Star Scramble, also known as Wardlow's match. Uh, Wardlow, Lance Archer, Brian Cage, Will Hobbs, CMLL's Magnus, Jericho, Dante Martin, and Hook. We get basically a meat match right off the bat. All the big guys throw out the little guys. Uh, they all end up flexing. We get meat chants when they hit each other. Archer does his rope walk uh, slam. He tries to do it to Hobbs, but Hobbs does a spine buster on him, counters it. All the little guys end up getting in the ring, the little meat, and they all do their stuff for a little bit. Jericho dives on Will Hobbs at one point. Dante dives on Wardlow. Magnus on Archer. And Hook on Cage. Wardlow superplexes Archer. Cage superplexes Hook. Dante frog splashes Brian Cage. Dante Martin goes on a tear. He dives on the outside, but he got tripped up in the ropes when he goes to dive, but it kind of worked in his favor. Did you catch that where it just turned into a clothesline?
Yeah,
Mhm.
look cool.
Yeah. He recovered from that. Magnus goes after Dante. Archer interrupts and choke slams him. Covers for two. Jericho and Magnus double suplex Archer and then do stereo lion salts. Hobbs power slams Archer. Cage suplexes Hobbs. Hook tries to suplex Cage but couldn't do it. Wardlow suplexes everybody. He goes to powerbomb Brian Cage, but Hook gets the red rum on Wardlow. Jericho gets the walls of Jericho on Brian Cage, while the red rum is locked into Wardlow. Hook suplexes Jericho, then a Northern Lights suplex with a pin, only 2.99. Will Hobbs slams Jericho on the floor. Jericho uses the fog machine as a weapon. Taz did not like that very much. He said it smelled bad. Uh, Wardlow headbutts Brian Cage, then a lariat, then a power bomb. Dante stops the pin. Dante does his finisher to Archer. Wardlow stops him. Hook gets the red rum on Wardlow again, but Wardlow throws him off. Dante gets power bombed by Wardlow. He covers for the win. And Wardlow had a pretty swollen eye there too.
Yeah, he took a good one to the face.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of action. Everyone got to do their stuff. We kind of got a little mini meat match there. Yeah, good stuff. I was entertained. That would have been a really great opener. But yeah, I I enjoyed it. Wardlow's gonna get his title match now.
Yeah, predictable. It served its purpose though. It was a popcorn match. Like I'm turning my brain on. Everyone's gonna get their stuff in, and it's gonna be great. And I enjoyed it. You know, there's a couple like little mini stories in there, but for the most part, I just chilled out and enjoyed the action. Yeah, that spine buster off of Lance Archer trying to go the old school was pretty sick. I love that one, and I just wrote it was a fun train wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I liked it when the big boys were in because it felt like the crowd was alive and they were like, "Yeah, we want to see some meat." And then a little guy would get involved, and it felt like they would just die, and the match got awkward. And so, if I were Booker Man, what I would have done is I would have had Hook and Cage main event collision, right? Have their FTW match, and then just do the four-way meat match of Archer, Cage, Hobbs, and Wardlow, because that way you still get to do your meat madness, and then but he wanted to keep it for Keith Lee and Miro, so that's fine. But it was still fun. I was gonna say Jericho didn't fuck up the lion salt, so good job. Very proud, very satisfied. And I like they were all doing suplexes, and Brian Cage was like, "Screw you guys, I'm gonna leave Hook on the apron and suplex him from that." That was when I was like, "Gee, I want to see that one-on-one match. Like, I
Right?
want to see that dynamic all from that one move." And then I liked Wardlow. He didn't overpower. I kind of wish he did, but Hook had the red rum on him, and Jericho had the walls of Jericho on him at the same time. That was a pretty good spot. So to even just have Wardlow survive that, I thought made him look really good. And then, oh, right then, that was when Brian Cage saved him. So I went, Brian Cage, my hero. But that was about it. That's all I had for the match. And then Wardlow won, which was the right call. So
Yeah. Oh, I did want to mention too, because we're not going to review Collision this week. The fog machine spot kind of reminded me of them using equipment in a fun way in Collision, where Briscoe tried to burn Buddy Matthews alive because he got a hold of the pyro controls. That was amazing. That was the best part of Collision, and it happened on the first match.
Was it just Briscoe versus all three of them?
Well, it was Briscoe versus Buddy in singles, but of course, eventually the other two get involved, and Briscoe just went one man army. He pulled out the spike, and he went ham.
Oh
He
my
eventually
God.
got beat down a little, but eventually he drags Buddy Matthews up to the stage and throws him on it and hit the pyro, and boom, the fire just went blowing right past Buddy, and like then the security come out like, okay, this has gone too far.
Oh my God.
Like, okay, him trying to stab a man with a spike wasn't too far, but burning him alive was. Is that's where the line is?
I love that. I love that FTR needed Danny Garcia to like finally start beating House of Black, whereas Mark Briscoe's like, I don't care, I can take you all on by myself.
Yeah.
That's so when they started doing that feud, I was kind of pitching to myself, like, all right, what would you do? I'm like, have Mark Briscoe beat them all 1-on-1, and then they do a 1-on-3 and he still wins.
Yeah, that's kind of almost what happened.
Yeah. Also Collision related. Wardlow cut another pretty good promo. Not quite on the level of the last one, but still in that like ballpark. But Jericho came out, interrupted him, told him it was his fault that he isn't getting cheered anymore. And Jericho calls him by his real name, Mike. And the
His
crowd was
shoot
like,
name?
ooh.
How could you do that, Jericho? That's it. I'm looking up your shoot name.
He just doxed him, as the
He
kids
was
would say. Would the kids still say
Christopher
that?
Irving. Chris
Wow,
Irving.
Christopher Irving. How do you feel about that? Get
You know who his
doxxed.
dad is, right?
Who?
Ted.
A famous hockey player.
Yeah. Of
Oh,
course
I
I
didn't know
know
that. That's cool.
Cool, yeah. Pretty cool 8-man scramble. We'll get that meat match eventually. Just gotta maybe get Miro on board with losing.
Well, sorry. Apparently, he was injured,
Yeah.
and he
Something
got
with
mad
his
at
teeth.
Tony Khan because Tony Khan was like, "Oh, Keith Lee and Miro are both unavailable," and he was like, "How dare you not know I was injured?" But everyone was like, "Tony Khan knew you were injured. Like, I don't know why you're mad." So it seemed like Miro wanted to get mad at Tony Khan.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that whole situation. Miro and AEW's a weird relationship. Like he should be world champion, like honestly. Or holding a title. But yeah, I guess
He
he
should
gets
be
hurt
on
a lot.
TV more. He doesn't want to lose. I think it's both. I think he gets injured a little too much, and he doesn't really want to lose. So they're like, "Well, we don't really want to use you."
I get it. I mean, it's Tony's show.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and most fans these days are sophisticated enough to know wins and losses don't really matter. It's all part of a greater story. Like,
Yeah. Like I
just
didn't want to see Danny Garcia win or lose, but this isn't over for him. It's not like his career's done because he lost this one match. Like
yeah,
he'll come back, he'll win something.
yeah.
Like
In fact, him willing to do business probably puts him on TV more because he's more like, yeah, I'll do whatever you want, boss. Let's
Yeah.
just tell a cool story. And they're like, well, yeah, that's the dude I want to work with and put on TV more than somebody who's going to argue with me all the time.
If Danny Garcia misses the next 2 months of Dynamite and isn't on Dynasty, then yeah, it fucked him up. But we're not there yet, right?
If anything, that TNT title match elevated Garcia, making him look like a credible threat to any champion, really.
Yeah.
Took the whole patriarchy to keep that title on Christian. So
Although I did think Kill Switch looked like a little bit of a chump with Danny kind of pounding on his back, and he's just like, stop it.
look,
Just
Danny
looked a little out of place.
he needed to send him to the back, and he probably just didn't want to rough him up too much.
Right. Yeah.
You know what? I think until the obvious match that was my match of the night, I think this next match was my match of the night.
It was very good.
I liked how they told it, and it was one of those where I was like, "Why weren't you doing
Uh,
this the whole time?"
yeah, no, this reminds me of like Adam Cole and his like when he's uninjured and going at 100%. Like the counter wrestling was fantastic. It was like Roddy had an answer for everything. It was beautiful.
Yeah, like, why wouldn't you have those kind of matches on Dynamite? Like, have Roddy look like a killer going all the way up. He
Yeah.
looked like a chump the whole way up, except for this match where I was like, "Oh no, he looks great." Like,
Yeah.
anyway, you want to get into it, Dave?
Yeah. International title match, Orange Cassidy defending against Roderick Strong. Well, first off the bat here, I gotta say, like, the simple gray cloak and mask, like, if all the Devil Dumpling Gang would have, like, kept maybe something like that and quit talking and kept silent and kept with the words on the screen, maybe I think this could have been the whole thing could have looked a little better. Like, I'm envisioning, like, each of them have, like, a different mask, maybe a slightly different look as if they're, like, like the Darth Vader's bounty hunters or, like, the Masters of the Universe movie, like Skeletor's henchmen, like, make them more mysterious. Like, I don't know
Look,
why they
I'm
had to
I'm
be
not
talking and goofy and stuff.
I'm not smiling at your pick. It is a good pitch. I'm like, you're pitching Retribution.
Oh shit, he
No, I mean
is.
You're
I
like a
mean
little bit.
I mean, they didn't wear
You could
cloaks. Cloaks are a little
no.
different
You
thing, I
could
think.
you could so do this better. Like you could do better Retribution, but I was just laughing because I was like, this is Retribution.
Man, like, make them mysterious, a little, like, paranormal even, like, devil worshipping cult kinda feel, like, and these guys are just Adam Cole's mercenaries, but, like, even Adam
Maybe
Cole coming out rolled out in a wheelchair, like, the whole look is done, it's dead, like,
like is he supposed to like the Devil Dumpling Gang won all out on this show? Wardlow's got a world title shot and Roddy won this. It should be
Should
smooth.
be, but they still just come off as goobers.
Except for Roddy in this match. He looked like a killer. He looked
Yeah.
like the killer he's supposed to be. So if he keeps wrestling like this, great. Maybe I'll start liking him again. But it's like that Matt Taven death match. One good match isn't gonna save this story.
Yeah, true.
yeah, yeah. Alright, let's get into it here. We got Orange County, Orange Cassidy, all taped up. Doc Samson made him get taped up so he could compete. Orange exposed his ribs and back when he went to put his hands in his pocket. Roddy gives him a backbreaker. Orange Cassidy dives on Roddy on the outside. Roderick Strong was hitting hard, a lot of chops. Orange Cassidy does alternating elbow and turnbuckle slams in the corner. I thought that was pretty cool. Kind of slammed his head into the turnbuckle, then an elbow, then repeat, repeat, repeat. Roddy gives Orange Cassidy a gut wrench power bomb into the turnbuckle from the top. Uh, Orange Cassidy sold that really well. Looked like it hurt his back quite a bit. Uh, we get Roddy mocking Orange Cassidy by giving him weak kicks, then chops, then Orange Cassidy falls to the mat. Orange gets momentum and tries a spinning DDT, but Roderick Strong won't let him do it. Orange Cassidy reverses the end of Heartache into a stun dog millionaire. Roderick Strong gets OC in the stronghold, but Orange gets to the ropes. We get the stronghold on Orange Cassidy again, but he is able to get out. We get kind of a cool slingshot backbreaker on Orange from Roddy. Kind of used the ropes to slingshot him uh, back to him. We get a spinning DDT to Roderick Strong from Orange. Then Orange Cassidy does a diving DDT cover for 2. We get Orange Cassidy starting off with soft kicks, then they get harder and harder. We get Orange Cassidy fired up. Orange hits a Panama Sunrise on Roderick for a 2 count. Roddy reverses an Orange Punch with a backbreaker. Orange Cassidy hits the Orange Punch, then Beach Break. Looks like his back hurts. He covers. Roderick gets to the ropes. Roderick knees Orange Cassidy out of nowhere, and Roderick hits End of Heartache and gets the win. We got a new international champion. Yeah, really great match. I just wish Roderick could have been this cool all the way leading up to it. It just,
Yep.
I don't know.
Well said. It would
If
be it'd be a much different feud if he could have got a few matches like this in leading to up to it, because this is the Roddy I've been all really excited to see since he signed, and it was like, I know what he's capable of. Why aren't we seeing it?
It's
Yep.
almost like the story leading up to this was Orange Cassidy is going to beat himself, which doesn't make Roderick look good. And then in the match, it was every single time Orange Cassidy got kind of going and kind of started getting a comeback, it was immediately like a heart or a backbreaker, a gut wrench. Like, and Roddy was hitting them out of nowhere. So I thought it was really good. I really liked, for me at least, that top rope gut wrench. Ooh, that looked like it
Yeah, that was
hurt.
amazing.
Except for those stupid Darby bumps that later in the night, I would probably been like, or that what
That
I can't remember.
Osprey, yeah.
Yeah, that Osprey bump that they kept showing, that one looked rough. And then I really liked Roddy picking up Orange Cassidy by his pockets in the first minute. Like, I thought that was just funny, and like Roderick being like, I don't want to be silly, I want to kill you right now. So I thought, again, made Roderick look good, but we'll see how it is on Dynamite. If he comes out and he's a goober,
Yeah.
then
Yeah, then that good match is almost wasted.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, loved it. Loved it.
Yeah.
I mean, or Roddy's one of those guys where like I picture if I was a professional wrestler, A, I'd really want to work with him because it'd be an amazing match. But B, I don't want to work with him because my back would hurt. Like
Yeah.
that dude just looks so punishing. Like everything he does always ends up as a backbreaker somehow. It is like,
Mhm.
oh man, like tomorrow, like Orange Cassidy's probably just like laying in bed, like, ow, ow.
He's like, "How long do I get off Tony Khan? A week?" No. This is a little sad, but when Orange Cassidy hit the Panama Sunrise, he kind of messed it up a little bit, and Roderick kind of landed on his neck. And I just wrote, "Thank goodness Roderick is so neck strong." And that was it. Just gotta move on.
Mhm. Yeah, man. Uh, yeah, great match. Then we get Kyle Riley showing up in the ring. He's back, apparently all healed up from injury. Uh, he kind of does this little stalking, like we don't know what he's gonna do thing, and then he smiles and hugs Roddy. They offer him a shirt, Undisputed Kingdom shirt, but he refuses. He whispers something in Roderick Strong's ear and walks away. Yeah, we'll see. See what happens. Could
I
that be
thought
the
he
next
looked
feud?
probably. I really like the look of him. He looked super unhinged. So I kind of hope that's like a character they're doing and not just he looks unhinged. Like I hope they actually kind of do something with it. So I'm intrigued so far. It did kind of have a flat finish because it was just like, I'm just gonna leave, like not gonna
Yeah,
do anything. But
at
you
least
know,
say
this
something that the mic could pick
yeah,
up.
this is something I'll let play out. Like he's just coming back from injury. The sheer shock of him being back is enough. So
Yeah.
Yeah, the look was unhinged, but his actions were anything but.
mhm, yeah.
uh yeah, we'll see. Cool stuff. Glad to have him back. Now we need Bobby Fish, huh?
Where's the lie?
Yeah, I think he's signed to MLW right now. I
He can
think
stay there. He's enjoying it. We don't.
he's got a bad attitude, I feel too.
Well, he's got to wrestle CM Punk. Who doesn't want to see that match?
Yeah. But yeah, fun stuff. Next up, we got our BCC versus FTR match. Uh, Pretty quick build to that, but I think they pulled it off. I guess 2 weeks. They got me totally invested in the match with their brutality, the violence, the hatred. Good stuff. We got Moxley and Claudio uh, come into the ring with Legion of Doom spike pads on. I popped for that pretty hard. Taz said that they snack on danger and dine on death. Uh,
I
yeah,
didn't think
good
these
stuff.
guys could look any cooler, and then they came out with that. I was like, okay, guys, calm down. All right,
Calm
calm
down.
down.
Really? You got to be that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. They looked cool. Uh, Getting into the match, kind of early on. Dax rolled up Claudio early. Claudio counters with roll up also. Dax and Claudio get a good back and forth with a good amount of pins. Dax and Claudio slap each other, then they chop each other. Then we get an uppercut from Claudio to Dax. That takes Dax down. We get a tag to Moxley. And Cash gets tagged in by Dax. Cash and Dax uh, fight in the corner. Claudio dumps Cash on the outside and hits Cash hits the apron on the way down pretty hard. Moxley throws Cash over the barricade, then dumps him back in. Moxley gets Cash in a cool submission. Dax comes in and breaks up the hold. Cash gets isolated, and then Moxley slaps him and talks shit to him in the corner. Cash runs at him with a lariat. We get a hot tag to Dax. Dax gets thrown on the outside and looks like he hit maybe the steps on the way down. He's bleeding everywhere, dripping blood. Claudio reverses a doomsday device with a power slam, covers for 2.99. Dax and Moxley trade blows. Blood is just dripping out of Dax's head. Cash and Dax do an assisted spike pile driver to Moxley, cover for 2. Claudio does the Doomsday device slash European uppercut to Dax. The crowd was super hot, starting to get really loud. Claudio reverses a shatter machine into a giant swing. Moxley kicks his head, uh, Dax's head while he's in the swing. Claudio covers for 2.99. Moxley bites Dax's bloody head. Dax spits in Moxley's face. FTR hits the Doomsday device. Then Shatter Machine, Claudio does the neutralizer to Cash on the floor. Moxley hits the Death Rider, covers Dax, but he kicks out. Moxley gets a choke on Dax. Claudio gets a choke on Cash. And Dax ends up going out. BCC win. Uh, and the BCC don't shake their hand, but they show them respect, I think, by not kicking their ass.
Yeah, they kind of
So
nodded at them like that was all right.
yeah, pretty cool match. It wasn't, I don't know, I didn't get super excited during most of it. It was good, but yeah, yeah, it wasn't, my match of the night.
If I had to if you're asking me like what didn't work, I would have added like some sort of stipulation to this. I don't know what, but just something a
Yeah,
little silly. Like I know Dax bladed and that brought some color, but I think I could have used a little bit more color in this. I thought it was a really slow start. Like the first 10 minutes or so was just kind of like heel working over and like kind of just boring. And then as soon as it started doing the big moves, it was a lot of fun. Like you mentioned, Claudio reversing the Doomsday device into the power slam. You know me, I love a good power slam, so of course I love that. And then Dax hit the jackknife on, I think, Claudio. And I was like, ooh, that's for Garcia. But apparently the jackknife was the move of the night. That was you hit this, you get a bonus. So that was fun. And then, yeah, I really liked him countering the big rig to the swing. But other than that, it was fine. Is this a number one contenders match to the tag team titles, or is that even happening now that there isn't a tag team champion?
I don't
Well, they
know.
didn't relinquish yet.
Do
But
I
they
smell a
are.
tournament in the future?
Yeah, they
Yeah.
announced that. I think at the press conference that they haven't relinquished them yet, but they'll be in a tournament. So,
Yeah. Cool.
all in all, a fun match. I just would have liked a stipulation or something like.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Because like the buildup was hot and quick, but it was like it just felt like dynamite match, slightly elevated dynamite match. Like it was just the same thing 3 times over. And
It
it was just,
was 6 Dynamite main events.
yeah,
So it's like you get that Dynamite main event, but again, it's a weekly main event. So you're not going to want to remember it too much because you're going to have next week to remember, and next week, and next week, which with a pay per view, I'd like a little bit more, but we did
How
get that
about
here.
how
Oh,
about the losing team had to disband? That would have been.
no.
And then
I
the
would have.
BCC lose.
I
That would
don't
have
know.
made sense to me.
I
yeah,
don't. Well, then what would you do with, like, especially Claudio?
Singles competitor,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
problem.
I don't know. There's a lot of people in the singles division right now. That's why I kind of like BCC in the tag division because I don't think there's much of a tag division, and you kind of need a big group.
yeah,
So
true.
this this win, if anything, cemented them as a pretty viable tag team. If they could beat FTR on pay per view, what can't they
True.
do?
Yeah,
So I bet you.
yeah, them and Bucks in the future.
Probably. I was gonna. Well, when I thought the Bucks were winning, I was like, "Is that what we're setting up to? Bucks and BCC for the tag titles?" But I bet the BCC will get to the finals of the tag team tournament and they'll lose to whatever babyface wins. I don't know. I don't really know who, but that's how I would see that.
Um, yeah, fun stuff. Yeah, I would have liked a stipulation. Yeah, going back to that, that would have been a little cooler. It was good, violent match, like, but yeah, it just felt like the third Dynamite main event uh in a row, basically. But yeah, cool stuff, cool stuff. After that, we get the AEW Women's World Championship match. Tony Storm defending against Deonna Purrazzo. We get Mariah May dressed up as the old Tony Storm. That kind of fooled me for a second. Like,
Yeah, it was
I was
good.
like, oh,
It was a good spot. I thought it was genius.
I was
yeah,
disappointed because I was like, "We're not getting timeless Tony Storm." And then the second I saw her, I was like, "Oh no, that's Mariah May. Good bait, good bait." And then she came out. I was like, "Finally, the star of the show!" Like, thank God, thank God.
yeah, Mariah May looked pretty cool in that look too.
Mhm.
Uh, yeah, kind of good old school wrestling early on. Good counters, good hammerlock to Deonna Purrazzo. Uh, Deonna ended up getting Fujinara armbar on Tony Storm, but she got to the ropes. Uh, at one point, Tony Storm low blowed Deonna. I love how Taz called that out. Like,
Yeah.
how does that work?
Yeah, I loved that. He was like, "Did it work?" And then the other guy's like, "Well, it did. She's on the ground." So yeah, I'm sure. Like, it's one of those things where, like, I'm sure it would hurt, and I'm sure
Yeah,
it would hurt more if you just instead, like, you kick to the midsection or whatever. But it's probably not as effective as a male low blow. If I had to guess.
It was still funny.
uh,
Oh, of course, it
yeah.
was awesome, but
I did like how Taz called it out. That was good. Uh,
mhm.
Tony was in control. She stomps Deonna, and gives her slaps and strikes, Russian leg sweep. Deanna ends up getting another Fujinara armbar on Tony Storm. Tony escapes with a roll. Tony hits the hip attack, then Storm 0. We get a pin, 2.99 for that. Tony gets an ankle lock on Deanna. Deanna gets out, kicks Tony off the apron. Luther catches Tony Storm, and Deanna just dives on both of them off the turnbuckle onto the floor. Deanna gets another Fujinara armbar on Tony Storm. Luther distracts the ref, Mariah May, lures Deanna to break the hold. Tony does strong 0, gets the pin and the win, retained the AEW Women's World Championship. Yeah, cool stuff. Speaking of the women's division, real quick, on Collision, did either of you? You didn't watch it at all, right, Chandler? Did you watch just part of it, Chad, or
I
all
watched
of
the
it?
whole thing. I think I did what 7 hours all told back to back on
Oh my god.
Yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, a lot of
I was like,
wrestling.
"Oh, I don't know if me and Dave are gonna review Collision, so I better watch this too." And then all of a sudden the pre-show was starting, and then I'm like, "Oh god, I've watched so much wrestling today."
It's like that bit in a Clockwork Orange where you just
Yeah.
keep your eyes open. You're like, I gotta keep watching. I gotta keep watching.
But I wanted to bring up that cool little kind of subtle Serena Deeb
Yeah.
interview.
Yes.
She done called out Mercedes Moné.
Uh-huh.
She went.
Serena Deeb said that she's the final boss.
That'll
Yeah.
be.
So
I bet you that's gonna be Monet's first match. Is
cool.
Deeb and
Excellent first match.
so. I thought I hate to say it, I was a little disappointed in this match because I was this okay. There's a lot of really well built stuff towards the top of the card. So to say this was my fourth most anticipated match sounds like a downgrade, but
No,
like
that's
it's mostly just because
right.
A Takesha's my baby, and then the world title match and the tag team title match, like those, like obviously I'd be more excited for those, but I was really excited for this match, and I wanted this to get into like a second or third gear, and it never really felt like it did. And then it felt like they were telling a story of Luther kept getting in the way of Tony Storm, and like every time Luther was like warming her up or checking on her, it would distract her, and Deanna Purrazzo would able to get a shot in. And I was like, "Ooh, they're kind of setting it up." But then Luther was why she won because it was a ref distraction. So and the ref missed Tony Storm tapping out, so it felt like it was a little rushed to me, but it was still a fine match. It was still fun. And then Deanna Purrazzo hit a jackknife too, so that was the move of the night.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, let's see. What do you think of it, Chad? Good match?
Yeah, same. I think maybe if they were going long, they might have cut some time because yeah, I feel like almost all the matches, especially on pay-per-views, kind of start somewhat methodical, and then we're building to a crescendo. Like it had a very New Japan feel tonight, and they're like, I felt like they cut it short right before that crescendo. So, but then right at the end, they sort of cut Sting off during his last promo. So I feel like maybe they were a little heavy on time and cut a little out. But it was fun, good character work, predictable outcome. We were all pretty sure Tony was gonna win, but
Yeah.
now we'll see what they do with Deanna moving forward.
Yeah. Maybe she can take that TBS title off of Julia, which we did get Julia on the pre-show.
Yeah.
Why we didn't get her on the full pay-per-view, I can only suspect is she was cleared, too late. And they're like,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
we're going to
Yeah, they
give you
didn't have time to
something.
build anything, and everything else actually had to build this pay-per-view.
I'll
Yeah.
cut them slack for that because I was like, I'm sure it was probably like a weekend. They were like, "Oh, you can make it? Well, it's too late. We can't just throw a match on the card, and this card's already pretty stacked, so you'll just get the pre-show."
Yeah. She looked good in the pre-show match too. So, but I'm just I'm officially like over her title reign. Like, I was really into it when she won it, and her lead up to winning it was really fun, but her reign hasn't been that great.
Yeah,
So,
I hate to agree. They haven't done a whole lot, or at least as much as I would like. That's why I think I've been pitching like I think when you need like a Thunder Rosa or a Serena Deeb or now Deanna Purrazzo to take that title off of her. Like I like Julie Hart, and she just needs more time to cultivate. Maybe it was management. Maybe they were just like, we're putting all this time into Tony Storm. We don't got time for you. So we can't have two dominant women's champions. Tony Storm is on. Come on.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool match, good stuff. Looking forward to see where both ladies end up after this.
Mhm.
All right. After that, we've got, man, I'm gonna call match of the year so far. Will Osprey versus Tenosuke Takeshita. God, what a match! Like, I clearly couldn't write down everything that happened.
What?
I, you know, tried to do my best, but
I have it all
man,
in my head. I memorized it.
yep,
Not the
yep.
moves, the
Did
match.
did Takeshita go over in your brain?
Oh yeah, he did. He always did. Look, it was the
uh,
right call. I wasn't mad. I was just like, oh, I hope they get. Like I was watching, and I was like, okay, put the Continental crown on him because three belts will look so good on Takeshita.
Right?
sure, Takeshita didn't win, but to be part of possibly match of the year, that's something. So,
Oh, yeah, I was a little concerned. I thought this would just be make Will Osprey look good the match, but it was very
mm-mm.
competitive.
Yeah.
Very competitive. So, even though I didn't really think Takeshita was gonna win, me as a Takeshita fanboy was fine because he
Yeah,
got
no,
plenty of licks in.
the angle that Osprey took that German from, whoo, man,
Oh
he looked like
yeah.
he died. Like he's like, I'm making you look like $1,000,000.
Yeah. So I was satisfied with this.
Yeah. Yeah. We're calling it the Don Callis family Civil War. Uh, I really like Osprey's theme music. The crowd was super into it. Is that part of the theme where you just go Osprey, Osprey, like
Yeah,
every?
I guess I've never really seen his intro, but he had that crowd, like, they knew what to do. He started at the hard cam section, and it was them, and then it was the commentator section, and then it was the side we see, and then he did it all. Like, that was really cool.
Yeah, that
So,
was very cool.
this Osprey kid, he's going places.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah. Crowd was so hot, so
Mhm.
hot for this match.
I
Uh,
think they wanted to boo Takeshita at first, and then he started doing Takeshita things, so they're like, "Fine, we'll cheer for you both, okay? You're both good."
mhm. Uh, Osprey slaps Takeshita, then gives him a Tierras. Uh, we get a superplex to Osprey and a one count only. Uh, I like how they kind of framed it as uh, someone who came to prominence in New Japan versus someone who came to prominence in DDT wrestling. I kind of like how they framed that. And they had never met before too, which was a cool thing
Mhm.
they mentioned. Osprey gets Takeshita in an abdominal stretch out of nowhere. Osprey hits Takeshita with a flipping corkscrew kick. Looked like a dream. Takeshita dives on Osprey from the ring to the floor, and they beat the 10 count after that. Takeshita hits a beautiful German suplex for two. Osprey flips off Takeshita into a corkscrew uh, kick. Osprey does a Spanish fly to Takeshita in the middle of the ring. Osprey hits Takeshita with a big spinning forearm, and Takeshita was stunned, and the ref had to check on him. Uh, Takeshita and Osprey strike each other really hard over and over. Osprey hits the Os Cutter on Takeshita for 2. Takeshita almost pins Osprey, but the ref notices that Osprey's shoulder was up. I really liked that. That was a good catch on the ref there. Takeshita hit a brainbuster on Osprey in the corner, and his back got hurt. It started to bruise. He really sold that really well because it probably hurt in real life. Yeah, pretty crazy. Commentary was kind of alluding that it could have been like a liver shot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he needed a moment after that one too, because like Takesha kind of even went over and checked and then started like doing a bit of crowd work because he's like, oh, he needs a second to recover from that one.
Ugh. Osprey did a poison rana to Takeshita. Then Takeshita hit a pile driver into a deadlift German suplex. Then Osprey hit a running back elbow to Takeshita. Osprey hit a Styles Clash to Takeshita, covers for 2. Osprey hit a Tiger Driver 91
Ugh.
on Takeshita. Then the Hidden Blade covers for the win. Man, oh man, what a match! High, uh, high level, high pace, very fast, big, powerful moves throughout the whole thing. Each man got to look good. Takeshita came out of this looking great. Osprey came out of this looking even better. What a perfect debut for Will Osprey.
Yeah, what's going to be weird for me is seeing Osprey on a television match because this dude only has one speed.
Yeah.
Like
So
nobody's ever seen him do TV. He's always been just these big high profile matches. So it's gonna be strange on Wednesday when he goes against his mate, his bruv.
Yeah, yeah,
Lord
yeah, yeah.
Kyle Fletcher. Yeah, of course, I loved this match. I'm not going to go beat for beat because we don't have that time. But I think my favorite bit of this match was Osprey going for an Oz cutter and Takeshita putting him into a Blue Thunder bomb.
Yeah.
I like jumped out of my chair when that happened. That was so fucking cool. Just Takeshita, and I really like how Osprey started doing a Styles Clash since his little TNA stint. I think that's just nice. If they're setting up an Osprey Styles match, please, please. I don't think that'll ever happen, but that would be sick. And then I really liked at the end, Osprey bowed to Takeshita. Like, as a Takeshita fan, I'm fine with him losing because I'm sure they have big plans with Osprey. I don't think you should stop him now. I don't think you should put a hindrance in them now. The only sad thing for me was like when you ask Takeshita to go, he always delivers. So why don't we do anything with him?
Right?
Right? Like, I think the world title is too heavy right now. I don't think he should go in there. Like, there's Swerve, there's Hangman, there's Osprey. Like, there's all these moving characters that I don't think Takeshita should really beat right now. But come on, like the international title or like something.
Yeah.
But that's my only negative of a fantastic match. This was my match of the night.
Yeah. Throw Hobbs, Takeshita, and Kyle Fletcher into trios.
Sure.
I want Callis family feuding with the patriarchy now. Give Takeshita that
Ooh.
TNT title.
Ooh,
Ooh.
don't tease me like that. That would be great.
I
Takeshita and Christian. Oh,
Mm.
I can't see him kill my father like that.
I need to go do a Google search to see if Takeshita's father's still alive.
Oh yeah.
Quick,
Yeah,
quick.
You might have just cracked the code.
Talk about
we
the triple
know.
threat. I'll look this up.
Yeah. So next up, we got the AEW World Championship Triple Threat match. Samoa Joe defending against Swerve Strickland and Hangman Adam Page. Joe attacks both men right away. He walks away from Swerve's uppercut from the top rope, like Joe does. All nonchalant like. Joe dives on Swerve on outside, then kicks Page's head. Page does a fall away slam to Swerve, kips up, and then Swerve kips up too. Uh, Joe gets Page in an STF, and Swerve breaks the hold. Swerve and Page team up momentarily to powerbomb Joe. Swerve and Hangman lock eyes and start fighting each other. Swerve laughs while getting hit by Page. Page reverses into a tombstone pile driver to from Swerve and covers Joe. He breaks the cover at 2. Joe breaks the pin again, and Swerve pins Page. Uh, Joe gives uh, Joe gives Swerve a brainbuster, but Swerve gives Joe the Swerve stomp, then the house call. We get a house call to Page also and a cover for 2.99. Swerve DDTs Joe uh, from the corner. Swerve does a 450 splash to Samoa Joe, but he can't cover. Uh, goes for Swerve goes for a stomp. He hits it and covers, but Joe kicks out at 2. Page pulls out the ref and then grabs the title belt and hits Swerve twice. Page yells, "You will never have this." Then Buckshot lariats Joe twice. He covers, but there's no ref, and it's his fault. Uh, Bryce Remsburg comes running out and counts to 2, but Page didn't get the win. Page goes for another buckshot, but Joe dodges and gets him in a rear naked choke. Swerve does a sky twister on both men. Nana hands Swerve his head thingy to use as a weapon, but Swerve handed it back. Joe attacked him. Because of that, Page punches the ref again, so Joe couldn't pin Swerve. Joe, uh, let's see, Hangman Page, Buckshot Lariats, uh, Joe, and then Swerve Buckshot Lariats Page. Uh, Joe superplexes Swerve and gets Page in a rear naked choke. Page taps out before Swerve could get to them. Samoa Joe retains. Uh, did Hangman tap out just so Swerve couldn't get the
I think that
win?
was the thing. If he should have given Swerve a look and a grin before he tapped out, that would have been awesome.
They'll probably sell that on Dynamite.
Yeah.
Like, I did everything I could to keep that title off you, and I won. So I thought it was obviously a fantastic match. Of course, the one right before it was just better, but I loved like so many little bits. I love Swerve throwing the headband away. I love Swerve and Hangman teaming up to power bomb Joe off the apron. I thought that was really nice. I think I was pitching as this match was building up. I was like, oh, they'll do the Lesnar, Cena, Rollins triple threat match where Joe starts hot and then he gets put through a table and he's out for 20 minutes. And then it's just Swerve and Hangman. And then he comes back and kills everyone in the end. No, Joe was an active participant in this match. And I loved it for that.
Yeah.
Like, he was breaking up all these pins. And I liked on commentary how they were like, that was like 3 pin attempts in 5 minutes that Joe had to stop. This might be a little bit more than he thought. Like, and then I loved when Page hit the double buckshot. I was like, oh, he won. I unironically was like, oh, that's it. And then I was like, oh, there's no ref. Like, I got so into this match, I forgot that there was no ref. Like, it was so well done. And then Swerve hit that JML driver on Page. I was like, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. And then Joe just threw him off and put the coquina clutch on Page, and that was that. So I think we all picked Joe to win, and I'm glad he got to retain in such an explosive bout.
Yeah.
But gosh, I really thought there was a chance where Swerve could have won. There was a chance where Hangman could have won, and
Wait,
exactly
am I
like
imagining this? Did Swerve kind of like invent the avalanche buckshot? Because he sort of did something off the top ropes that kind of looked
yeah,
like it. I
he
was like,
was
did he just out buckshot
yeah.
Page?
Can everyone do a buckshot better than Paige? Logan Paul
Oh,
can,
CM
Swerve
Punk
can.
can't.
Well, okay,
Oh,
who? Who? DM Hunk? Are you talking about Drew McIntyre? He's not relevant.
Punk tried it twice and fell.
I've seen the footage. It's sad. I don't I didn't want to talk about it because it is kind of sad, but it is what it is, right?
Yep.
I don't know if yeah, the collision ahead of time. Swerve cut a promo like he had some really good lines in there. He's like, it's ironic. I hung the hangman and then swerve, swerved, swerve.
Yeah.
I was like,
Hangman
Ooh,
oh, that was
swerve
really
swerve.
good.
that's
Yep.
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah. It was great.
Well, Dave, it's time. How
Yeah,
did you
man.
okay? Before we even
Well,
get to the match, how did you feel
th-
about like the opening promo package for Sting?
Whew.
real
Wow.
quick, they did announce the new pay-per-view right
Oh
before
yeah,
this, kind of
right in
a little
between.
bit Dynasty. It'll be in St. Louis on April 21st.
Ooh, you going?
Um, no, no. Uh, I'm gonna order it. Uh, but yeah, just wanted to get that in there real quick. Yeah, we'll see what'll happen there. But yeah, the little video package they did for Sting was amazing. Like, it was a shame they couldn't clearly get any WCW footage. Like, WWE would never let that happen. But it was interesting there was no TNA footage in there too. There must not be a good relationship right now between Tony and TNA.
I was really really hoping for like just a broad like range, like show everything, show him
Yeah.
in like his WrestleMania entrance, show him at TNA because he was there for longer than
Hot
that.
minute.
Yeah. So like I was really hoping for that. Like maybe it was like a hey, can we get a little Sting footage for this? But it is like I still got chills without it. Like it
Oh, it
was
was
still a
great.
fantastic video package. But who cares about that? The Young Bucks used the Cody Vader.
Yeah.
I so I was watching this with my friend and they hadn't watched wrestling ever. And so I started freaking out because I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And they were like, "What? It's an elevator." So I had to like show Cody and like show like everything. And I was like, "This is a big deal. Like this is not supposed to happen. These guys are dicks." And I loved it. It was perfect.
Damn, Cody doesn't have a Cody Vader in WWE, right?
Big WrestleMania matches he does. So when he returned, he had it, and then the Raw after he had it, and it's like stopped halfway up. So I think they stopped doing it. But then last Mania, he had it again. I think.
Oh, it didn't
They
work?
should they should just go get Alistair Black's contraption where he kind of came up like coming out of a coffin.
Ooh,
Like,
but
sorry, this is all we got.
yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. We got Sting's final match, AEW World Tag Team Championship match here. Sting and Darby Allin defending against Matthew and Nicholas Jackson. We got Ric Flair coming out. We find out we got Ricky Steamboat as a special guest timekeeper. Pretty cool. In the crowd, we've got Magnum TA. Was it Nikita Koloff
Yeah.
Hmm.
and Scotty Riggs? Did you guys hip to the new DDP yoga video about
Yeah.
Scotty Riggs?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch that?
I
I
haven't
didn't
watched it,
watch
but
it.
I've
Chandler?
heard about it.
What happened?
So
Oh,
Scotty Riggs was in a tag team with Buff Bagwell called the American Males back in early 90s. And Buff Bagwell was getting treatment from the DDP yoga program. And he reached out to Scotty Riggs to just out of the blue to kind of reach out to people from his past. And Scotty Riggs wasn't doing too good, kind of uh, not feeling good about himself, feeling real worthless, out of shape, and they took him in to the DDP yoga program. There's a whole video about it from the DDP yoga YouTube channel. He got dedicated, got totally back in shape, got shredded, and he had no teeth. So DDP has some kind of a relationship with some dental implant company that they helped people together and got him free implants, beautiful new teeth. Yeah, cool thing. Really cool thing they did for him. So that was
Wow.
really neat for me to see him in the crowd there. Another kind of a backstory of Scotty Riggs. He was part of uh are you familiar with Dusty Rhodes promotion called like Turnbuckle Pro Wrestling? They
Sounds familiar. I've never
QT
seen it, but I've
Marshall
heard of it.
just restarted it. Like he
Oh,
restarted the whole promotion after years and years. But Scotty Riggs was really close to Dusty and a big part of the old promotion. And there was kind of a little bit in that video where QT Marshall like surprised Scotty Riggs after he got in shape. He's like, "Hey, do you want to be part of the new promotion?" And then they showed him like his entrance to a match, and yeah, he looked great. So
that's
Cool.
yeah.
cool.
Uh, but yeah, back to the match here. I liked that the Bucks had robes on, like kind of like Ric Flair does. Cool little look there. Uh, we got Darby coming out before Sting. We get this beautiful video package that we kind of talked about. A lot of great footage from the past 4 years in AEW, plus plenty of old footage. Like they were able to get New Japan footage of Sting when he was technically in WCW. A lot of that, uh, that situation was occurring. But yeah, really cool stuff. They threw in a couple pictures of the Ultimate Warrior and him together. Um, yeah, really great. It was just so eerie when it was over and the screen goes blank in the theater and Sting's in there all alone. Man, that was crazy moment. And he's like, "It's
Yeah.
showtime for the last time. Let's do this."
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, freaking amazing. Uh, so we get Sting's music hitting, and then, man, they got me good, man. It was one of his sons come out first as 1989 Great American Bash Sting. And then the other son comes out as Red and Black Wolfpack Sting. Awesome. I couldn't even believe it. Like how cool they looked. And then we got the old Metallica Seek and Destroy theme from WCW hitting. Sting comes out. Yeah, great moment. We've got uh Darby Allin immediately diving on the Bucks. Each of the Suns and Sting each do some Stinger splashes. That was really cool. Darby did an interview like 2 weeks ago where he was asked if the Suns were ever gonna wrestle. And he's like, "Oh, no, no, they're not interested in that." So clearly he was trying to keep that secret.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I don't think they're gonna do anything after that, but it was cool to like they're not in bad shape, like physically.
Yeah.
Uh it's pretty cool. Sting does a double scorpion deathlock uh to the Young Bucks, and then they get on the outside. Sting throws both of the Bucks into the barricade. The Sons of Sting set up a bunch of tables. A ladder, some glass, some chairs get pulled from under the ring. Uh, let's see, we get a coffin drop on the Bucks on the outside. Uh, Sting tries to hit Matthew with a bat, but smashes the glass. Darby sets up another piece of glass on some chairs. Nicholas Falcon arrows Darby onto some tables from the stage. Matthew Jackson suplexes Sting onto some tables on the other side of the stage. The Young Bucks set up a ladder on the turnbuckle, and they throw Darby on it. We get a code red from Darby to Matthew Jackson. Darby sets up the ladder in the ring. He climbs on top of it. Nicholas Jackson moves out of the way, and Darby comes all the way down, crashing through glass, and it was real glass. They do a close
Rhyming
up on
River.
his yeah. They do a close up on his back, and you can just in real time watch all these hundreds of microscopic bleeds start to
Yeah.
appear. Oh my gosh, it was crazy.
Yeah, that rough looking bump. That was like my least favorite part of the match. I was like, did you need to do that, Darby? Did you need to?
It was weird too, because like Nicholas wasn't even like laying down, right? Like he wasn't even like
He's
ready
just
to
kind of,
take a bump.
yeah. And then
He was
the
just
other
kind of
bump,
like there.
yeah, the second he went up that ladder, I was like, don't do that. Don't do that. That's dumb.
Too far.
Man, Sting ended up cleaning house in the ring. Sting climbs the ladder, but Matthew slams Sting on a table. Sting no sells the table bump, but they throw him through the glass in the ring. Matthew gives Sting a scorpion death drop on the glass and covers for 2. Nicholas Jackson grabs one of the tag title belts, but Ricky Steamboat tries to stop him. Matthew grabs the belt. Flair tries to protect Sting. The Bucks hesitate, but end up super kicking Flair and Sting. Then Ricky Steamboat. Matthew Jackson hits Sting with the belt and covers for 2.99. The crowd thought it was over at that point
Every
too.
single one of these young bucks, I was like, oh, this is where you end it. Oh, this is
Yeah.
where you end it. And he kept kicking. I was like, Jesus, Sting, what are you on?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was like, oh my god, he's gonna put the Bucks over. Like I bought it. I bought
Yeah.
it for sure.
Uh, oh yeah, they said, "We're not sorry, we hate you." And the
Oh my
Bucks
God.
super kick Sting, but he just absorbs it and then clotheslines both of them. He covers Nick, but Matthew breaks the cover. The Bucks give Sting an EVP trigger. They cover him 2.99. The crowd thought it was over. They give him another EVP trigger, but he kicks out at 1. Uh, Sting just laughs at them and they super kick him again. They try to do what they call the TK driver now, not the Meltzer driver. But Darby pushes Nicholas onto a table set up on the floor. We get Sting coffin dropping Matthew Jackson, then Sting doing a scorpion death drop. Then he gets Matthew in the scorpion death lock, and Matthew Jackson taps, and still AEW tag team champions. Wow. We got confetti coming down from the ceiling. Darby's like, we only got 3 minutes left. Show some love for the Stinger. Sting thanks Greensboro, the Nature Boy, brings up his 45-minute match. He said he used to be a risk taker in his younger days. He can still be one now. And then they kind of cut him off. He's like, "Oh, I'm getting a cue. Hold on."
And then it cut. I was so mad. I was like, all right, at least we get like a nice Sting retirement speech. And he's like, okay, I gotta go. And then that's it. I know they uploaded more on YouTube. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. But I was like, ugh, get an overrun.
The match should have just went another 2 minutes and 40 seconds. They win, that it goes black with them being,
Right?
their
Yeah,
hands raised.
don't start the retirement speech and then have everyone like, or just do it on Dynamite. That's what I was thinking. Like, have
Yeah,
Dynamite be the Sting retirement episode. Those are always good episodes.
yeah, they could do like tribute matches and stuff. It'd be dope.
Yeah.
Uh,
I don't
did
want to
you
be too.
catch?
Oh, what?
Oh god, did you catch Ric Flair like wasn't there? He was like, "Oh, I don't know where Rick is." He, like
Yeah.
wandered away. Even when Rick
So,
showed up, did you catch when he was like, just briefly they had him on camera and he's like, "Where am I?" Did you catch that? Like he didn't know where
no.
he was, like where he was supposed to
Oh my
stay or stand
gosh.
or
Yeah.
whatever was
So
what he was implying. It looked bad though.
I thought when he ran in there, he was gonna try to cover Sting to screw him over one last time.
he
Well, he
got the
had his
pin for
hand
the
on his
bug.
neck. Uh,
Uh, so when he was like, "Oh yeah, I had that 45-minute match," I was like, "Here it is. Here's the Ric Flair match." And he's like, "I don't even know where he is." So I was like, "Oh, it's so over. I lost. I just lost." But I think so. This might be controversial. I thought the Sun bit was a little cheesy, and it's mostly just because they're not good at this. Like they were fine doing the moves, but like they looked bored. Like the whole time they looked bored as
Specifically,
hell.
Wolfpack Sting, he looked very
Yeah.
nonchalant. It was hokey, but for me, I was like, let it slide because it's
Oh
such like
yeah.
he's bringing his family in. It's such a
What?
big moment.
As soon as they left, it was fantastic. So let me just say that. Like it was still a fantastic match. I loved every bit of it. It was just the Sun bit was kind of hokey, for me. But that was quick and over and done. So I liked it. But they did get me. I thought that Sting did come out in the Surfer Sting look in the beginning.
me
So
too.
I was like, hell yeah, all right. And then I was like, oh wait, no, he's a bit bigger.
Yeah,
They fooled me for a second there. Yeah, I think they did him right. I think Tony Khan did the right thing here. Sting got to go out on his own terms. Um, yeah, I got nothing really bad to say about it.
yeah.
I liked the Suns being there. Uh, like at one point, I'm looking at the TV and there were three eras of Sting looking at me like in the ring. Like it was incredible moment.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's pretty cool. I guess so. Why were the tag titles there then? For added stakes? Then is
it was
that?
a
I think it
tag
really just
match.
motivate. I think it mostly just motivated the match, maybe in their heads. They didn't need it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it was a tag championship defense.
it's just like because I thought you put the tag titles on them so that the Bucks could win them, and then they go on this big heel run, but then they didn't win them, and so it was, and then like Darby and Sting never seemed to care about the tag titles, like they would not really have them with them, so it just a little odd, but it was still fine. I think I think you could have had the same exact match without the tag titles, and you could have just had the Young Bucks be like, "We're the EVPs. We're gonna be your final match." Like that's how
Yeah,
you could have told the story is like, "We're gonna do this for you," But
yeah,
all in all, fantastic match. I think "We're Not Sorry, We Hate You" is like my new favorite thing in wrestling. That was so funny because everyone was pitching them doing the ironic "I'm sorry, I love
yeah.
you." But for them to just do that, it was epic. And then Sting like went back and then he just slowly rose back up. Oh, that's iconic.
Man, he went out on top.
Mhm.
Like, not how many wrestlers get that?
Most wrestling stories are tragic at the
Yeah.
end.
Even
Undertaker did, but that was kind of a cinematic match, so it's a little
Yeah.
iffy.
Flair could have, but then he went and
Well,
ruined
yeah.
it.
If he had the match with Sting, he could have gone out on top.
Ric Flair's had three last matches.
He could have had one more.
Yeah, like the WWE one.
Did he
Uh,
have one in TNA?
yep, he had a retirement match in TNA, and then the
And
other
then Rick
one.
Ric Flair's last match ever, I swear.
Until the next
Uh,
one.
yeah,
Well, I thought this one was the next one, and I thought this one would be the last one, but I think Ric Flair's actually retired now. I don't know what else you would do for another Ric Flair match. No one wants to see it except for Ric Flair.
Hogan.
Ugh. Double retirement, both of their backs break in the ring. Let's go. Well, where does it have? Where do you have the match? Because Ric Flair can't go back to WWE, and Hulk Hogan isn't allowed in AEW.
No.
I
Let's
know.
just book it themselves.
TNA, TNA, TNA.
No, Hogan will want to change it to Impact again. The only good thing he did,
at Prestige.
yeah, the only good thing Hogan did for TNA was get rid of the 6-sided ring. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the pay-per-view. Like it went by quick. Like it sounds like almost 6 hours of wrestling is, a lot, but it goes by quick. Like
Yeah.
and with the no commercials, man, it's hard to like go make dinner. Like
Yeah. You're like, okay, this is an entrance I don't really care care to see. End of this match, I'm gonna go. Like, yeah, I got the puppy, so it was like, oh, looks like she needs to go to the bathroom. Okay, can you hold it till the 3 count?
you have to wait for a big move where both men go down. Like, all right.
Takeshita Osprey just started. Can you wait 45 minutes, please?
Yeah. It's like I got my food in the oven. Can I take it out? Yeah, fun stuff. Yeah, I'm really gonna need a HBO Max streaming deal for my pocketbook.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we're doing what are we at? 8? Okay, we get the 4 flagships, possibly Wrestle Dream, Forbidden Door, All In, uh Dynasty. Is there another one I'm missing?
World's End potentially if they
World's
do that.
End. Those 9 pay-per-views times 50. Like, man,
It's a lot. Come on,
yeah.
Tony Khan, get your act together.
But
Well, I
the
got it.
tweet,
Oh, what were you saying?
the tweet he sent out when Bleacher Report was having the issues, like I kind of said before, like I don't think he would have been that direct about literally addressing a streaming deal with Warner Brothers if it weren't almost a deal.
Right?
Yeah. So it's coming. I believe in it.
Mhm. Well, we want to do our highs and lows because I got to get going here real quick because I haven't even eaten breakfast and I got to go to work. But I say we start with Dave. What's your highs and lows?
High, obviously, everything Sting, the whole match, the video package, the Sons of Sting, uh, how it ended, everything was great. He went out on top just like he should have. Um, Low point for me, man, honestly, the first match of the night really didn't do it for me that much, but it was still good. The TNT match kind of fell the flattest for me. Uh, it was still great though. Uh, yeah, that's all I got there.
Chad, you want to go?
Sure. Yeah. For me, high point, probably mirrors yours, I'm gonna think. Osprey Takeshita, that was something else. In my notes, I was like, I didn't want it to stop, but I was sure glad when it was over. It was a friggin' car wreck. But those guys did some amazing stuff, and just like they put together like move after move after move in such creative ways. It was like, oh my god. Good luck for the rest of the year trying to top that because it's so far match of the year for sure.
Sorry.
And for me, the low point is the match order. I think of like the first 4 matches, they could have flipped stuff around, and I think even if you hadn't changed the matches themselves, it would have just kind of given it a little elevation to the whole pay per view.
I think for me, my high point, I won't just say the Takeshita Osprey match because obviously I'll say it's specifically the Oz Cutter into the Blue Thunder Bomb. That
was cool.
That'll be on my tombstone, just a gif of that. So thank you, boys. My low point, I hate to say it's probably the Danielson Kingston match because I'm not really into this Kingston reign and I didn't want it to continue, and it is. So we'll see where it goes.
That's
But
fair.
other than that, it was a pretty dang good pay-per-view. Glad I watched it, of course. And then now it's just time to speculate. What's next? Who's next? Whose house?
Yeah. We're gonna get a nice little fresh shake-up now. New feuds, new storylines. I always look forward to after a pay-per-view for that.
Yeah.
A little fresh start. Um, I'm sure there'll be a couple feuds that off the bat will kind of be like, we're not too sure, but I'm sure they'll heat up and get better. That usually happens. So,
Well, even something like
um,
Roddy OC, that was a bad build the entire time. And then you get to the match, and it's like, oh, well, you
Yeah.
should have just done that. It was like the death match. It's like, you should have just done that this whole time. Why didn't you?
Yeah, like that was the first thing, like coming right out of World's End. That was the first thing they teased. Like it had the longest time to simmer, and it felt like it peaked to like this would have benefited from the 2 week quick burn type of thing, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, flip flop the FTR build.
Yeah, but they
Um,
were fighting House of Black for like a month.
Yeah.
So that, give them a little credit for that. They were a little busy.
cool. Yeah. Good pay-per-view. I enjoyed it. Looking forward to Dynasty. I think we'll get MJF back for that. And possibly a couple other former stablemates of his, Hammerstone and Holiday. I think will be.
Apparently, TNA signed Hammerstone. So
Oh,
they got
really?
him. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, shoot, I'll take MJF solo. Ooh, during the pre-show, we got a pack video
Oh yeah.
package.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
He's
They
coming
didn't.
back very soon,
That's,
he says.
that's
Uh,
nice. I haven't seen any of Pac in AEW, so it'd be good to see how
yeah,
he is.
he's
Very good.
always hurt.
Yeah, hurt or visa issues. One of the two at some point.
Yeah.
He was
Um,
the international champion before it was the international championship.
yeah, he was the first All-Atlantic champion.
I kind of like
Um,
that name more. If I'm being like, international is way too close to intercontinental, and it's also kind of generic. But All Atlantic is fun.
then you got the oh, I guess they don't call it the Continental Crown. Now it's the Triple Crown, right?
No, it's the Continental Crown, the whole thing.
Okay. Yeah. Too close to Intercontinental. Uh, but yeah. Good stuff. Looking forward to Pack. Where the hell is Scorpio Sky also? He showed up when Collision first began. They're like, oh, he's back. And then
Yeah.
boom, nothing. I
Too
think
much of a
he's
CM Punk guy.
pretty injury prone too.
Yeah. No, there's a nice picture of that in the Sting retrospective when those two had
Yeah.
a moment.
Yep. Yeah, he like Scorpion Death dropped him or something. But yeah. We'll see. Hopefully, you can get some of these injured people back in the mix. Britt Baker.
Right? Hater.
Yeah. But yeah, fun stuff. Yeah, we'll be reviewing Dynamite coming up here. And let's see. Yeah, we'll do our prediction punishment. We're going to be eating the last dab. I'm going to do it anyway, even though I
Ooh.
lost.
Kind of
Ooh.
delicious.
Yeah, it's really good. So yeah, look forward to that, everyone out there. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave us a comment, and check us out on the audio realm too if you're not into looking at our faces. We can help you out there. Spotify, Amazon, Apple Music, anywhere you can find podcasts. But yeah, I think that just about does it. Yeah, we're trying to reach 250 subs too. So tell your friends if you're watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Power bomb it if you'd like.
Ooh.
But cool, yeah, that just about does it. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Chandler.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Dave.
Yeah. Fun show. And yeah, we'll be back at you with a Dynamite review in just a couple days. Yeah, thank you very much for watching, and we will catch you next time. Bye.
Peace.
Bye bye.